So I thought it was interesting that we were all hanging out at you guys' house the other night and we were chatting, and Rochelle, you actually made the statement that you ended up hating music.
Yeah.
And you ended up hating it. And you didn't, those weren't your chosen words, but you said it became a job. Like the business side took the joy out of singing and doing really what you're doing. And I think and I was a little shocked to hear that. And I know you guys. And I think for us music lovers, right? When we hear musicians say that, I think maybe it's a little bit hard for us to understand how can it not be fun all the time? How can it end up feeling like a job? How can you end up hating it? And it's the business side of, I think, everything right? And I think because a lot of people, we only see the success when we're watching MTV, when we're watching you run on stage, we're watching the audience go crazy, we're watching you
don't see what goes on behind.
That's right. And I think that is, am I true in saying that part of your career is like maybe 10%?
The fun part?
The fun part.
Yes. It's the smallest percent. Absolutely.
And the rest of it is business, dealing with lawyers and managers and contracts.
Driving on the roads and being alone in the hotels and all that stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. And I can't speak for Jeanette because Jeanette was on a way different level than us. But for us, it was, they give you a little bit of money and then they say, oh, you're in North Dakota today. You need to set up and play tomorrow night in Florida. Okay. So I'll pile in a van, get on the road, then you set up and you play that night, but you're setting up your own equipment. So you were literally moving a house and setting it up all the time.
All the time.
And it's work.
Was it the same for you? I mean, obviously you weren't setting up your own stuff, but it was a similar thing, wasn't it?
It was. The only difference is I slept on the bus while we were getting there.
We were taking turns driving.
I had my own little cubby hole to sleep in, and I'd wake up and I was there. And yes, everything was set up.
Yeah.
I was spoiled that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's similar. You still have to deal with the same stuff of being in a different town.
And on the road. Some people love the road. They get addicted to the road. I'm a rockumentary person. I love rockumentaries, and I'm really into musicians and singers. And so I watch every documentary. I always text when I come across a really good one. But some people love the road, addicted to the road, can't come off the road. They're not happy if they're not on the road. And then there's some musicians that the road is really fucking tough. Hard on them. It wreaks havoc.
But I think you need, and like, again, I know Jeanette I can't speak for Jeanette. You have to have something else. Like, even if you're on the road, you have to have a hobby, because getting up, going to the job, going back to your hotel, getting up, going to the job, going back to your hotel, it gets lonely.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. And I think you're right. There has to be some sort of balance.
Yeah.
And even when I said it became a job, it's because I didn't have a balance. I didn't.
Right.
And I think the three of us, Joy, Anna, and myself, didn't have a balance because they were just booking us and booking us and booking us. We had no say in where we were and how often we were going to work, and how we were just out there when they said to be there.
And
that's the part to me that it was just a job.
And you wake up and you don't even know where you're at.
It was hard to have another life. It was hard to have any sort
you
of.
You hear that from a lot of musicians. They don't have control
Mm-hmm.
over their own career.
Yeah.
Like it's the label or the ones that are making money off you guys.
Right.
They're the ones, they don't give a shit. They just want they want money. They push. I mean, look, David Cassidy is a really good example of that as well.
That was a great documentary.
That was a great documentary. Yeah. And, and it's sad what happened. I think it's sad what happens to like a lot of musicians, but even now, I mean, you'll hear Machine Gun Kelly. I just watched his documentary and same thing. I mean, it's still happening. Do you think, Jeanette, it got better today, or is it same as it always has been?
Do you mean just with us or just in general?
I think in general, musicians, young musicians coming in, getting signed for the first time, do they have more control over their career and making sure they have days off in between to rest and get sane?
I always call the music industry the wild, wild west, because it's not, not every artist has the exact same contract. It's like anything goes. A manager can ask for 50%. A manager can ask for 10%. A manager can ask for, there's no rules.
Right.
So it's your own, how you get into it, who's taking care of you, who's not taking care of you.
Right.
Everybody has, I think, a period where they pay their dues. Even the kids coming out of American Idol and all the, the audition shows.
Yeah.
There's a period where they're paying their dues. I know there is. But everyone has a different story. I'd love to hear of somebody who just came out from the box and didn't have to go through that period. But I can't remember ever hearing that.
Yeah, I was just watching an interview with Macklemore. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but he launched and got a hit with Thrift Store. I'm a huge Macklemore fan.
Love that
Kat,
song.
Kat and I just saw him live. Mm-hmm. He opened for Imagine Dragons. So what a great concert here a couple months ago. But I was just watching an interview with him, and he never signed with a record label. He launched his career, and Thrift Store became a hit just from streaming.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit. Don't elaborate yet, Rochelle, because we're going to talk about that a little bit.
The world's changing. The world's changing.
Yeah. The world is changing. So I think with the world change, I think musicians have a whole lot more options for exposure and getting their music out there. Right. You're not locked in. The only path is not record labels, management, and all anymore. That. Not anymore. It's changed. It's really changed the game. They're probably all pissed off about it too. Right. And I think young artists too, that probably most don't end up in a great contract at first, because I think I would imagine you're just so excited to be signed. You just want
they're
one.
Just gonna, they're just going to sign anything. It's like, I got a record deal.
Yeah, you feel like this is your opportunity, and it might be your only opportunity, and you don't want to pass it up.
Look what happened to the girl bands back in, like with Phil Spector, all those bands that were signed with Phil Spector, all those girl bands back in the day.
And in the 80s.
And in the 80s with Expose.
We were right there with them. Yeah,
you were right there with them. So you guys lost, you never owned the name Expose. You three girls are Expose. Your Expose. Three voices, your three personalities, your three faces, who you are as humans. You are Expose.
Right.
Point fucking blank.
That's the way we've always seen it.
Well, that's the way all your fans see it.
Right.
And we don't want to see anybody else coming on stage but you three.
Right.
So you didn't own your name. Do you want to tell the story a little bit?
Well, right, that's true. We did not own the name, and at one point, after we had taken a long break from the group, we wanted to start working again as the group, and we did. And we had a lawsuit served to us almost immediately by the people that claim they own the name, and so it was a big battle as to who was going to be.
Was
able
it the
to
record
use
label?
Expose.
Was it
It was a production company that we had originally signed to.
Yeah.
So our record label in the beginning was Arista Records with Clive Davis, and that was a great experience. The production company, not such a great experience.
Can I ask you, like that, the day, did you know that they trademarked Expose and they owned the name, or was that wasn't even on your radar? You didn't even know to ask that?
I just was. I mean, I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the music industry at all. So I didn't think, I actually thought I was going to go to Florida, record a couple tunes and go home and, have a tape to play people. That's not what happened. I never came home. It was just, it happened so quickly once I joined the group.
Yeah.
And it just took off. So I didn't think about that stuff. But later on, you do think about that stuff. When financial things come into play, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
When did you guys realize you didn't own the name Expose?
I don't think I ever thought I owned the name, but I thought that I didn't realize how heavy their presence and their foot was on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't even write. Like, had I met you guys back then, anything I would have written with you would have belonged to them.
Really?
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the contract was really, really just
and
very
we would have kicked you out of the room.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. You wouldn't have written with me. That was the problem.
But that can happen in any industry. It can happen in my industry, the permanent makeup industry.
You can ask for anything.
You exactly. And we have young artists coming up, and you can tell that they're going to be stars, and they're getting into contracts and collabs. And I always tell them, you got to read the contract, read the fine print. Don't ever get boxed into where you got to be super, super, super careful and trademark everything.
Yes.
Everything.
So I don't think that's why we stopped at that time. I think we stopped because of we just didn't have any control over our lives, and that's what made us stop.
I was going to ask you, because you guys were at the height of your success in the mid 90s, and then you dipped out.
We dipped out because we wanted to have relationships, and we wanted to have children, and we wanted
families.
We wanted to be normal.
Yeah.
And so that's how we dipped out. But when we came back again, they served us with the lawsuit, and it was pretty scary. It was, there was a lot of money. No one wanted to be involved with us. No manager wanted to be involved with us. No booking agency wanted to book us because they were afraid of being thrown into the lawsuit.
Right. Right.
So it took 3 years, and it was a lot of hard work for Joy, Anna, and myself. We worked. If you would have called me up and said, "Hey, I'm having a birthday party for my 3-year-old. It's going to pay this," I'd be right there. I'll be right there.
I'm on my way.
Because it was so much. It cost so much money for this lawsuit.
But worth fighting for, right?
At the end, it was very much worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Because we won, and now we own the trademark expose, and we are expose, and we control expose, and in turn, we control our lives.
And you control, and today you 3 women are controlling your own career.
Anytime you see us booked somewhere or on anything or doing anything, it's because we choose to be there.
And can I just say, like your fans have followed you all through the 90s, the 2000s, they've stuck with you. I mean, on any day, you guys can be singing in front of 20,000 people, 15,000 people.
That's correct.
That's
pretty
correct.
Exciting.
That's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Hey,
that doesn't happen
I got a little
to just anybody.
I got a little starstruck.
Really
they were playing the arena at the Orleans last year or something like that, and I snuck in. I went up to the stage, and Jeanette
flashed her badge.
Yeah, Jeanette's waving at me, and I'm like, she's waving at me.
Well, you know what
waving at me.
Well, I want to know. Do they still do? Do you guys still do your dance moves? Your little
yeah.
Well, you know what? I think the 3 of us were talking about that, and I think we were kind of debating.
Like,
but
I'm not dancing. Just
because I was like, one of you 2 were like, no, they don't want to do that. People don't want to see that anymore. I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit.
Oh, people don't want to see us do it?
No, we're talking about dancing. I'm like, I'm
dancing.
I'm not dancing.
Like expose. Like, of course.
Oh, they had the moves.
They had the moves.
Yeah.
I'm not doing no moves.
I think
when you go see
people
they
come to see us, and I think people expect to see
it.
that.
Yeah.
Well,
yes. I agree
like
with
if
that.
you go see New Kids on the Block, you want to see those boys, even though they're in their 40s now. You want to see them in their tight, skinny jeans, and you want to see them like. No, you want to see
the choreography.
Well,
it's just like going to see the spinners or the four tops or the OJs. It's like unless they're doing all those things back there.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Pat Benatar fan, and Kat and I went, and her voice was phenomenal. It was great, but it was almost, she wasn't rock and roll anymore. It was the acoustic. She was like in an office polyester suit, and she just wasn't rock and roll. And I felt a little robbed, but I was still felt blessed to be there. Her voice was great, but it wasn't. Music brings you back. It's nostalgia, and it brings you back to a time in your life. That's the power of music. It brings you back to a time in your life, right? And it can make the memories, and it can make that time in your life feel so visceral.
Yeah.
And
we all talked about that in the kitchen the other day.
Yeah.
Music, and Rochelle says it's all, music does something to people emotionally. A person, you can start a song like on a band set, and then the guy in the front row just jumps up. It's almost like they've been taken over by the Holy Ghost, and they just can't help themselves. They just get to going and moving. Have you've seen it?
Yeah,
yes.
And it never annoys me. I find happiness in it. I love it.
But even when you're sad, you kick on one of those songs, and
for
it's
sure.
Like,
for sure.
I feel like that.
For sure. So I think the moral of the story, as far as balance, because it can happen in PMU too. I mean, you get too caught up in your career, and all you do is work on you. For you guys, it's on the road. It's this. It's in studio. It's this. Blah 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 blah. And in other industries, it can be, other things. But if you don't take, and it's happened to me, it happens to me every now and then. It still happens to me because I have a very hard time with balance. So, sometimes it takes, a breakdown. A breakdown.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
To realize, you need a break.
Yeah.
So
we needed a break.
You needed a break.
I know that we needed a break. And And when I said I hated music, maybe that was too harsh of a word.
It
But
is a hard
But,
word.
but I think you can feel that in the moment, Rochelle.
Oh yeah, but what I think I hated too was they said earlier, business. But I also hated doing other people's music. I think we always wanted to be creative and do our own music. We just didn't know how to do it. And then Laura started writing. Laura started this whole thing where we started writing together.
That is right.
So Laura wrote a few songs years ago, and they were like, "Well, let's finish these songs."
And then Jeanette fixed them.
But we had met Jeanette like almost 20 years ago, because when we were in patrol, when I was a rookie in patrol, I would sit at her mom's house and do my paperwork just to have protection at her mom's house, because she lived close to the area command that I worked out of. So we've known each other for years and years and years. And then I don't know if I like to say we're on God's time now, but we started writing. She came and sang one of our songs. So to me, it was about being creative again.
Yeah.
And not doing, I don't want to do other people's music.
Well, I think
when I do our own music, it's just like brings something out of me that I never knew that I had.
Well, you know how I feel about you two. I love you two women to the ends of, I do. I love your heart, your minds, your compassion.
Me too.
I'm
right in there with you.
Yeah, I mean, they're just tough, badass women, but so kind, so gracious, so generous. I just love you two women, and Kat and I both feel.
I just got red.
No, I mean, really, we don't talk mushy. Well, no, we say we love you a lot. We always say we love you, but you know what you mean to me, and I just think I think Kat and I get so much joy. I want to pee myself. I like watching you on stage. I want to run up there sometimes and just, I get so much joy. I can see the joy in you. I've never.
But hang on, it goes both ways.
Yeah, it does.
You do realize that you and Kat were the reason that we wrote the song "Rock and Roll Me."
I know
that was y'all's relationship created that song.
Well, that blew my mind. Yeah. We did have someone write a song about it. It was great. We framed it, all the lyrics. You guys signed it. Yeah. It's in our we have it all framed. It's beautiful.
I didn't know you yet, but I just wrote the song because I thought it was good. I joined in.
I told her later.
She came up with a lot of the rock and roll songs, because we're all country, and we're like, well, we do know some Air Supply songs just because Mike and Russ play with Air Supply. So we had a bunch of Air Supply songs in there. She's like, no, we got to change that. We'll have a few of them, but let's change it up. We need some other rock and roll songs.
You should have heard the groups that they mentioned.
We
in there.
didn't know.
I can't call the song "Rock and Roll Me" and mention those groups.
Yeah, so she had to help us change it to like some actual rock and roll.
Air Supply considers himself a rock and roll band. I've seen them say that. I love them too.
I love
it. He says they do. He says that in all his interviews. Yeah. Don't you think? Well, we're not gonna be able to hear Mike. He's back there, but
we love Air Supply.
I do too. But I was watching an interview, and they corrected. One of them corrected
probably Russell,
the interviewer, that they are a rock and roll band.
They call them a ballad group, or
I can't remember. They were just featured on. It was about love songs.
Yeah, they're really good friends of ours, so we have to give them a little shit. So
they're. But
I love them. They're a great band.
Yeah. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's just a great story and a great message for everybody, no matter what industry you're in. That first, let me ask you just really quick. When you were kids, did you dream of being musicians? Was that your dream as a child? You too, Jeanette?
That's all I ever dreamed about.
That's what I dreamed about too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You did? Of being a rock and roll star?
Oh yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I was going to be.
Can you sing?
Not. I cannot carry a tune even with a wheelbarrow.
We're gonna get you to sing on our next song.
No,
I choreograph.
I cannot sing. I got a good ear for music, but I cannot sing. And it depressed me for years that I don't know why. God made me love.
Is like, why are you depressed?
I can't sing. Oh my God! Why would you make me love music so much? I have such a great ear for it, and we're great rock and roll clothes. I mean, I love fashion.
You do look great on
and I can't sing for shit. Yeah, and I can't sing for shit.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's not fair. It's almost like torture.
You know what your gift is? You inspire.
Oh yeah.
Even when we were talking in the kitchen, you're like, Jeanette needs to do this on that song. That just
her face turns all red.
I made the ugly face.
And then we went back and changed the whole song.
Oh yeah.
And
but,
she did.
Well, I woke up I only just said that because I had a cocktail. If I didn't have a cocktail, I never would have had the balls to give you advice in how to sing, Jeanette. Are you Jesus Christ?
She's telling Jeanette from Expo.
Jeanette Gerardo, Yeah, you need to,
But you
need
were
to really push it in the middle. I mean, I want to like, I
you
want
know
to
what?
make me cry.
Taryn,
It works. Next day
She
she was at the
listened.
house.
But I woke up the next
She
day and I'm
listened.
like, oh my God, Kat, I don't think I should have fucking said that.
No,
you
that
know?
was great. And I do want to mention too about this is going to sound really corny, but it is true, and I say it almost every time we perform. That years ago, when the girls were playing casinos here in Las Vegas, I went and I was sitting in the audience watching them.
Yeah.
I didn't know them yet. I don't even think I met you that night yet.
I don't remember.
I would have
No.
if I would have known you were there, I would have been so scared.
Yeah,
and
I was
nervous.
sitting. Chris and I were sitting. My husband and I were sitting together watching you girls, and I remember telling myself, I would love to be up on stage. I think they would, because they look like they were having so much fun.
Yeah, oh
And I
yeah.
thought I would
Yeah.
love to be on stage with those two, whoever they are.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
yeah.
yeah.
And
No,
so
you
that
guys.
was kind of like a little dream
Yeah.
of mine way back then. And ta-da!
And
Yeah.
look at us now.
And look
Here we
at
are.
it. It's you know it's not weird the way the universe works. It's the way the universe works. I just think it's a great message for anybody listening that had a had a dream, pursued the dream, and how to step out of that and to go do something else, to pay bills, to find stability, to go take care of
Yeah.
aging parents, to
Listen,
get married,
I
have
admire
children.
Jeanette for doing what she raised some of the
Oh,
most
my-
yeah.
amazing kids.
But you
Yeah.
guys are living examples and proof that although there may be some circumstances that some women have to, step away from what they're doing to go, have children. That's really strong for some women, to take care of aging parents, to go
But
get
not
a
give up the
get a
dream
regular
either.
job
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pay bills.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the dream is dead.
Correct.
That
That is
doesn't
right.
mean they can't
Yeah.
go back, because this is what's happening in my industry or PMU right now. Left and right, artists can't fill their book with clients because the economy and the world's
Yeah.
just kind of messed up, and everybody's like a little, afraid right now, and you just see the heartbreak of them having, and they've spent thousands in trainings to
Right.
learn the craft. And what I want them to, this is why I thought, even though you guys aren't PMU, I thought the message, having the three of you on here, was powerful, and that if you're an artist or anybody right now that's had to go do something else other than your dream or what you feel you were born to do, that does not mean for 1 second that dream is dead, that you can't go back to that, and you're not going to end up doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
My dream
So
is very
true.
much alive.
Yeah, because you all picked it back up.
Yeah.
I mean, you all came back to music.
Yeah.
And then the three of you came back and you formed the band Last House. And with that, I think maybe we should segue into a song.
You want to
Yeah.
do one?
I think we should do a song.
Hey, we happen to have our band here.
You do have your band. So do you want to?
Just by chance.
Let's introduce the band. So back there in the corner with the
Can you see him? I don't know if I'm in his way. There he is.
That
Yeah.
guy right there.
we got Mike Zerbe. Yeah, Rochelle's handsome husband,
Yes,
also
indeed.
Virgo, fellow Virgo.
Oh,
Yeah,
Are you a
drummer.
Virgo too?
I am a Virgo.
I should have known.
Yeah. Drummer for Air Supply and Expose.
Mhm.
Lead guitar, Russ Letizia. Guitars for Air Supply, the Righteous Brothers. And you just do a lot, Russ. You're just a well-known, well-respected musician.
Awesome musician.
On
yes.
keyboards, we got Levi Presley. You're a local musician,
Yeah.
always working, always busy. Any relation to Elvis? It's America. Stranger things have happened. But yeah, so what song are you going to do for us?
We're going to do a song about being on the road, since we were talking about
Yeah, that's
living on the
right.
road.
And it's an original song
It's
you
an
guys
original,
wrote.
Yeah, we wrote it.
Mike produced it and Russ
Mike and
produced
Russ
it.
produced it and came up. Like, it started. It's funny. I was actually at work. I'm like, hey, I came up with this really cool guitar lick. So I think I played it to her over the phone. She goes, yeah, let's work on it. And then she came up with some weird lyrics that we didn't use. And then I showed it to Russ, and Russ, of course, he's a master musician, fixed the lick to make it really, really rock. And Mike and Russ, and then we put it in the studio, and it's about her and Mike and Russ and them going on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do
let's
it.
get over there.